Welcome to Mother-Daughter Projects. I'm Steph.
I'm Vicki.
And we've told you in the past couple videos that I recently got a dog right here, Tosh. So we've been doing a lot of DIY to kind of make the house and everything fit best with two dogs now. So I realized that the coffee table I had that we made a couple years ago just was not working in the space because I had two dog beds and I needed something smaller. So that's what we're going to show you today, is how we designed something to actually work within our space and with kind of the dogs that we had. So let's get started.
To start, I wanted this to have a heavy base so the dogs couldn't push it over and it would stay in place when feet are on top. Mom found this thick piece of pine a few years back at a yard sale and I knew it would be perfect for this project. First, I cut the two edges off so we had a nice fresh straight cut on each end. It's easy to cut this with a compound miter saw. Then I cut it right in half. It was neat to see the number of rings this had compared to a newer piece of lumber. This is definitely an old piece of pine. The plan is to glue these two pieces together, but you can see they are a little uneven. We could have spent some time sanding them, but we happen to have a woodworking friend in town that has all the tools needed to straighten this wood out very quickly. And I mean, it took about 20 minutes in all, and that would have taken us hours to sand. So I headed over to Anthony's house, and first he ran the boards on the jointer to square up two sides on each board. You can see with each pass it takes off more of the outer layer. Once each board had a 90-degree angle, for the third side we took it to the planer and Anthony ran it through a couple of times. With each pass, he would lower the planer just a little bit so it got nice and flat on top. Typically for the fourth side, you would cut this off with a table saw or bandsaw in order to get a perfect 90-degree angle, but I was just fine having this run on the jointer for the fourth side, and you can see it turned out pretty perfect. With that done, we prepared for the glue up at Mom's house. Mom applied glue to one of the sides, then we clamped them together for 24 hours and did some light sanding after that. To seal them, we use dark walnut Danish oil, which is a stain and sealer in one, and just enhances the natural beauty of the wood. We applied 3 coats following the manufacturer instructions. Next, we measured a scrap piece of plywood to the size of the base, and we cut it out with our circular saw. We placed this on a piece of foam and used that as our guide for cutting. Mom is using an electric carving knife to do this. We're going to be upholstering the top and bottom of this, and we started out by marking around the wood, then marking a 1/2 inch wider than that. This will be used as the bottom piece. Mom is marking the fabric with tailor's chalk and cutting it out with fabric scissors. With that done, we attach a layer of batting to the foam and wood to just make everything a little bit softer. We went around adding staples to keep it in place, and this is our favorite hand stapler by DeWalt. It's made out of carbon fiber, so it's light and easy to use. Mom cut off the excess, and then we prepared the black pipe. To clean the pipe, we use Dawn and warm water. To seal, I'm using a clear matte finish that we had in our stash. Sealing them will help prevent rusting. I did multiple coats. Next, we laid out the top piece and Mom stapled it into place. She cut off the excess and then placed the 4 pipe flanges and measured to make sure they were the same distance. We used a nail set to make an indentation for the placement of the screws. Then I drilled pilot holes. The bottom piece we cut earlier and Mom is now gluing it into place. And then I felt around for the screw holes and used a nail set to break through the fabric. I screwed each flange into place. We screwed all 4 legs into the top, and before we attached them, I realized I wanted the edges of the base to be a little bit more rounded, so Mom did this by sanding them. Then we put the top in place and screwed down the flanges. And here it is, all done. The thick base gives great support and the pipe accent complements the other pipe decor used around my house. This is a perfect place to rest my feet and doesn't get in the dog's way.
What we learned?
Well, actually, the biggest thing we learned is we don't really need a smaller coffee table.
Yes.
Because in the between getting rid of the old one, which we recycled, and we'll show you that, Tosh decided she wanted to be a couch dog. So
Yes.
she no longer sleeps on the floor, so we don't have to have 2 beds in here.
But I still like it. It's still
Yeah.
nice and small, and it's better than what we had before. Cause and I don't know that Tosh could get up on the couch with the old coffee table. I think
It was too big.
it was too much space. We actually put the old coffee table. We realized it works sideways, and we put it in the Lego room. So I hold all my old Lego building manuals in there. So it is still being used
It
just
is.
for another
I
purpose.
put wheels on it, so now it's a wheeled cabinet.
Exactly.
But the biggest thing we learned in this project was this fabric just collects dog hair like nobody's business.
yes.
So if we had thought about it, I don't know why I didn't think about it, we would have brought this fabric over and used it in the space and see if it collected dog hair. And if it did, how easily it was to remove.
Yes, but in fact today we have a dog hair brush cleaner thing coming from Amazon, so I will insert that footage here if that works well for this, so you can see, and I'll put a link to that if in fact it works.
Yes.
This is an idea of like how to use something, to make something, not necessarily for the design of it, but for the use for you, like how you're gonna use it and how you need it in your space. So I'm really happy with it. I'm glad we designed it, and let us know what you think. Do you like this design? Would you have changed something about it? What kind of Ottoman works in your space? What kind of ideas did you get? So let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
And let us know if you have a couch dog.
Yes, if you have a couch dog, let us know. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
What is she doing?
She's a pretzel right now.
Yes.
She's all awkward right now because we
And
didn't
she
leave
wants
her
to- she
enough
wants to
space in the
sit.
middle for sitting. But here we
Here
go.
we go.
There we go.
Okay.
And
There we
she's
go.
down.
And she's down. I just need to move a little bit.
Yeah, she needed a little bit more space because she's a big dog.